All right. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. This is Left Side of the Brain. How's everybody doing today? Thought I would do 2 videos. Like I promised, someone had left a request that I do a video about the spirit and soul. What's the difference between a spirit and a soul? I have covered it before, but sometimes you have to go over things. That's a common question that I get. And this is just one of the 2 videos that I'm going to make today. I don't know if I'm going to merge both subject matters. I may do that. You know what? I am going to do that. I'm going to cover some things in this video. We'll see. We'll see. But anyway, go ahead, hit the likes button, hit the subscribe button, and I'm going to leave all of that in the description box. Leave your comments below. Now, without any further ado, let's start out with the first common question. What is a soul? We're going to start with that first. Now, from the Jaguar perspective, the basic definition of a soul is a collection of information. Write this down, because I don't want y'all to ask this again. What is a soul? A soul is a collection of information that comes from the time before the great falling away. And depending upon how much of your umbilical cord was severed from the time of the great falling away determines how much soul you have. When we first started this channel, we used to talk about the 1/10ths, meaning people who had like 1/10 of a soul all the way up to a complete soul. So basically what that means is utilizing the law of exceedings. I guess I'm gonna kill 2 birds with 1 stone, because that's how it turned out. Thank you, Spirit. Utilizing the law of exceedings, which means, and I don't have it written down in front of me, I have my notes at the house, but basically the law of exceedings, it means that everything that you see in nature around you serves as an example of what takes place in the spiritual world, and that the spiritual world does not exceed beyond what you can use as a metaphor in the natural world. Meaning, for every spiritual thing that takes place, there is a natural world example that you can give to explain a spiritual occurrence. Just like I was about to go into, having a soul, like 1/10 of a soul, like I was saying, and I'm about to utilize the law of exceedings. It means that just like when a child is born, and depending upon how close the doctor severs the umbilical cord, determines how much umbilical cord you will have left connected to your navel. So the same can be said using that natural example, which is a case in point, using the law of exceedings to explain the percentages of soul. So I'm giving you a real-time example of how to use the law of exceedings. The same can be said for what took place before the time of the great falling away. So the time we live in now is post-great falling away. So what happened is we were ripped from the original soul, what we call darkness, the all-knowing. But depending upon how much umbilical cord you had left from the ripping away, determines how much soul you have. Now, but there's more to it. You may be a person with a lot of soul, and your parent could have got with someone that had less of a soul. So what happens is, over time, that soul material, it becomes diluted. So if a 1/10 gets with a 1/10, when they make a copy, it is weaker than the original. I'm about to use the law of exceedings again to explain what I'm saying. It's like taking an original document to Kinko's, putting it on the copying machine, and what comes out of the copying machine is weaker in writing than the original copy. It's not going to look the same. You ever seen like a copy of a copy is weaker? The ink is not as bold. It doesn't look exactly the same. So that's how it is with when you duplicate weak souls with weak souls. So like if a 1/10 gets with somebody that's less than a 1/10, the child will inherit a weaker soul, you see. But if the parent, let's say if a 1/10 has a child by somebody that is like has a third of a soul, that child will come out having greater potential of understanding things, because that soul material, it take this time out to hit the likes button, hit the subscribe button, take this time out, commercial break. Y'all know when people walk past, we have to take a time out. Like I said, we're going to use those moments for time outs. So hit the likes button, hit the subscribe button. Back to what I was saying. When a weaker person, when a person with a weaker soul gets with a person with a even weaker soul, the child can come out very feeble. But if a person that has a stronger soul gets with somebody that has, let's say, 1/3 of a soul, that child has the potential of coming out with a greater understanding, a more natural connection to higher information, because they will automatically, and that soul, it also has a magnetic pull to it. It pulls you back to the original information. It's like static. If you got a lot of static on a shirt, you will attract a lot of lint. So in the case of what I'm saying, that lint represents information. So a person that has a greater soul capacity, you will find yourself just naturally falling into information, and you will be naturally attracted to higher information. Just like you yourself keep coming back to these videos, that's because you have a greater soul capacity than most people around you. So you may go out on your job and start speaking stuff to people that they never heard about, and they can be in their 30s, late 20s, early 40s, 50s and 60s, and you will be speaking to them about this stuff, and you will be like, how could you live your whole entire life and never come in contact with information like this? You will be surprised how many people just walk around like they just robots, because they are soulless. They don't have enough soul inside of them to be able to gravitate to a higher soul potential. And another thing, you see, when a person, every time you make a copy of that soul, it gets weaker and weaker. That's why I say, somebody like me, I have no business having kids. With all of this understanding I have, this is a one-time deal for a person like a left side of the brain. This type of world is not made for a person like me. This type of world was made for me to come here, understand, and get the hell up out of here. Do what I gotta do while I'm here, but afterwards just forget about all of this, because like I said, even now, when you got information like this, you are actually living inside of the information. So everybody that you see, you are basically, like I used to say, become an observer. When you got information like this, everything around you that you're looking at is just like a classroom. You're just observing the interactions of HPBs. Do yourself an exercise. Go into a room of people. Go to a party. Go to a bar or something like that. Just sit back. Don't say nothing and just look at the room around you. Just listen to the conversations the people are having. Everything around you, you will notice, is very mundane. Just go through your supermarkets, your local Walmarts. Just walk around and you will notice how mundane the conversations of 99% of people, how mundane it really is, the conversations that they have. You maybe haven't noticed that. That's why I want you to just take time out to just sit back and notice how people operate in the world around you. Very mundane. Very mundane. And that's why this world does not have a high demand for this type of information in public settings. You don't find this in universities. You don't find this on jobs. Like I've said, it's not necessary in this world for you to be intelligent on this level. How many of you have heard me say that before? It's not necessary. So this type of information is for you. It's not for them. It's for you to keep you grounded in who you are. Because this is me. This is me. From a man, from your heart, a man speaketh. So if you find yourself around a person and the only thing they speaking is mundane topics that reflect the mundane world, then it's self-explanatory who that person is. That's just the easy way to pinpoint a HPB. It can be your mother, it can be your father, it can be your sister, it can be your brother, it can be your girlfriend, it can be your boyfriend. It doesn't even matter. It's no respect of persons when it comes to this thing. You see? And this type of information is for the select few. It's nothing you did. It's just when the great falling away occurred, you just one of the ones who retained a certain amount of soul, and everything else shattered around you like pieces of glass. You just happen to be one of the fragments of the pottery that fell that was larger than other particles around you. That's all that means. And because the people with souls, because they had information to undo the illusion, what happens is the anti-souls, the people with less souls, they, or the human prison bars, they created a world where they wanted to survive. Now, in my book, I go in detail about this, about how these organisms started out microscopic, and then they grew and became more complex. And over time, they developed a spiritual system of locking down people with souls. It's just like inside of your body, using the law of exceedings. You have an immune system, and you have things that can attack your immune system. So the HPBs would be like the attackers of the immune system, replicating themselves, trying to stay alive by any means necessary, doing whatever they have to do, creating the human prison bar realm, doing whatever is necessary to keep you unaware of these things that I'm saying. And one of the ways they do that is by ridiculing people like us and trying to call us crazy and trying to spiritually sham us. I call it spiritual shamming. When you ridicule a man of great wisdom, you know. All right, go ahead, hit the likes button, hit the subscribe button. We're gonna take this time to do that. Hey man, what's up? It's LSOTB. LSOTB. We're gonna let them pass. We're gonna let the HPBs pass. HPBs walking past. We're gonna let them pass. We're gonna let them pass. We'll take this time out. We ain't gonna fight and get all upset. We don't do that no more, you know. We're gonna take our time, hit the likes button, hit the subscribe button. Next thing I'm gonna speak about is the I'm gonna speak about the law of exceedings.
I was trying to figure out when somebody was gonna help me. How you doing?
I'm doing good. And I'm gonna tell y'all something too. When after they leave, I'm gonna say something. And y'all just wait. Y'all just wait. Hey, what's up? Okay. Now, even as I was making this video, right? Some of those people spoke to me, and the ones who spoke, I could pick up that they were the ones who, they may not know this type of information, but something inside of them is still amplified. Now, it may not be on the level of where a left side of the brain is, or some of you, but it's still something in them. But at the same time, that don't mean you try to go out. Well, you can. It depends on like the situation. But don't try to force it into them, because they may not understand. Then you end up just wasting your time. So sometimes you may come across people like that. You see? But even still, if they not enough, you can't trust that. You can't trust it, because when it's shadowy and shaky like that, that's what it is. Now, what is going to happen to them, that's none of our concern. We just focused on us. But you will come across people like that, and you just got to let it be what it is. That's what it is. Now, hope y'all understood that part. So the soul is a collection of information. Now we're gonna go into what is spirit. Okay. Now, the spirit is two definitions to a spirit, right? Now, spirit means the intent behind the soul. Okay? You know how somebody say a negative spirit and a positive spirit? It's talking about the intentions behind the information that a person possesses. Because if you got soul, which is a collection of information, you have a collection of positive information, right? About, gravitating towards these type of things that we speak about. Now, the spirit of a person represents the intentions behind whatever information you have inside of you. So a person can have a negative spirit or a positive spirit. So the spirit basically means what kind of spirit a person has, the intentions behind whatever information that's inside of them. You get what I'm saying? That's one way to define spirit. Another way to define spirit is spirit is basically just energy, raw energy. So everybody has a spirit. I have a spirit. Even HPBs have a spirit. The difference between spirit is the intention behind the spirit. So the HPB spirit is negative. It's against you. Like I said, the anti-soul. The positive United Soul spirit is about separating from this HPB realm. Y'all get what I'm saying? That's how you define spirit and soul. I mean, that's how you define the two types of spirits based upon intention of that spirit as it relates to the information that the person possesses. And another thing about HPBs, they don't question reality. Okay? They just program. Like when you type in information into a computer, when you download a program into a computer, it doesn't question the program. It just operates off of the program, and it can only understand computer codes that you put inside of the program. So that's why when you're talking to a HPB, you may lose them in the conversation because they'll just be staring at you. Have you ever been in a conversation with someone and they just staring at you because everything you're saying, it doesn't connect with them? See, we use these terminologies all the time, but we take it for granted. When we say like, I didn't connect with that person. It's